Hi everyone, welcome to the JavaScript fundamental uh, tutorial. In the previous video, we have already discussed regarding JavaScript output. So I have already shown you like regarding the inner HTML, regarding the inner text, and I have already shown you how we can write a document or write what is the function of alert, what is the meaning of console.log, and how we can use windows.print function. So in this video I will be discussing regarding the JavaScript syntax, JavaScript statements, JavaScript comments, JavaScript variable, and few of the JavaScript constant like late and variable like late and const and few of the JavaScript types. So let's start with the JavaScript syntax. So as we already have a demo function. So we'll be using the demo function only, or we can use a different function like function e syn- syntax function syntax. Okay, so now here we have a different we'll create a button name for for syntax, and we'll name it as a JS syntax, J syntax button. Okay, so before starting this syntax, so what is syntax? Syntax are the rules how program must be constructed. Okay, so for an example, I have an let x is equal to, let's suppose 5. Okay, and let y is equal to, let's suppose 6. So I want to compute the value of um, like y. So for that we let y is equal to sorry z. Z is equal to, I'll put x plus y. Okay, z is equal to x plus y. Okay, so what it will do? So it will do, if I click on the JavaScript syntax, it will do nothing actually. Okay, z is declared, but its value is never z. It is not working. I am comment like it is not doing anything. Okay, so now we have a let x is equal to 5, which is a value of x, and y is equal to 6, which is a value of y. Okay, so now here comes with JavaScript values. So the JavaScript syntax define two types of values. One is literal and one is variable. So what is literals? Literals is a fixed values. Like we have a 6 is equal to 5, x is equal to 5, we have already mentioned, and y is equal to 6, we have already mentioned. Okay, so that is the fixed value. So we can mention the x and y. X is a literal one, and y is a literal one. Okay, and now coming to the variable. So variable is a variable value. What is variable value? Variable means x can be anything, like it can be 5, or it can be 6, or it can be 25. It can change. And what is the same can be do for y. Y value also can be changed. Like y is a y can be 6, y can be 12, y can be 18, y can be anything number. Okay, so the most important now if I coming to the JavaScript literal one. So the basic thing is the most important syntax rules for literal are, that is number are written with or without decimals. Okay, so for example, we can mention as a 5.9 or we can mention as a 6.7. Okay, or we can as a 6 point, just a 6. It's just a 6. Okay, now what it will come. So let's try it once. So when it is getting, so we'll put a we'll set a number like document.getElement.id. Okay, so we'll be using this document one. So let's do it here only, document.getElement by id. And okay, so now we have the inner HTML and we can mention the inner HTML is, let's suppose 7.2. So why this one is the literal value, because this one is a fixed. We have mentioned this 7.2. This one is fixed. So now if I click on run and click on JS syntax, so you can see we got the number 7.2 in this p element, HTML element, under this PHTML element. Okay, so this is the lateral one. Okay, and we can also set a string, as I have already show you. Like we can mention like this one, like um, we can mention like a string like stat code path stack code path. Okay, so if I click on the JS syntax, so what we'll get? We'll get the same value, whatever the text we have mentioned in document.getElement by id using the inner HTML. The same it is showing into the index HTML under the HTML element. Okay, so this is how we can also like mention value under the string. Now coming to the JavaScript keyword. JavaScript, what is JavaScript keyword? JavaScript keyword are used to define action to be performed. Let's suppose we have a late or const, that is basically constant, and those are the keyword. Okay, so for example, and remember one thing, like this JavaScript keyword are like case sensitive. Okay, so let's suppose one thing, let's try one thing regarding the keyword. So suppose we have a document dot, I'm using this one instead of writing a different document dot get element by id. Okay, let's suppose we have a script where let x is equal to, sorry, x is equal to 5, and we have a constant const constant name is equal to, we can mention stack code path. Okay, so what I want to print this 5, the x value and the name value into the HTML under the HTML element. So what we have to do? We have to do is, first we have to mention name, not, okay, before that, this is name. So I am, in fact I am writing this name. So when I'm writing this name without any single quote or without any double quote. That means this one is a variable. Okay, so you can see, like if we hover over there, you can see the constant name is StackCodePath because we have already mentioned the constant name is StackCodePath. Always remember, always put a semicolon after each and every line. Now we are using plus. So this plus is basically using for concatenate for any variable or any string. So how to concat this one? So is uh, is we can mention like again we have to concatenate with plus, then here hold. Okay, so I am explaining you like how I what is the meaning of this one. So as we can see, like name we have mentioned, this one is a variable. So this variable is constant name StackCodePath. Okay, so we are using plus because we want to concatenate this variable with this string. So if you are writing this, that means this one is addition. If we are writing this one, that means we are concatenating a variable and a literal I'm sorry, not literal, a variable and a string. Concatenate means we can add this one, like sum this one. So if I this one, write this one, and we have to mention one more variable like x, and we have mentioned plus. Okay, so first we have mentioned the variable, then we are concatenating this variable with this value, the string, then we are concatenating this variable with this with value with this variable again, then we are concatenating this value using plus by this and this string. Okay, now we have a semicolon already we have. Now if I run this one, and we have a default default, we got an error, but we are expected string at this one line, sorry, we are expecting this at line 13. Okay, so what we have missed, our document in our HTML name is and a plus this one, and we have already this one. So why it is showing like this? HTML name. Okay, okay, okay. What exactly it is showing? Yeah. Now we have a stack code path is. We'll make a space. Stack code path is 5 years old, or is we are concatenating this one. Okay. So this is how we can concatenate. This is how the syntax of concatenation. Always remember this one. Once you are writing any you are concatenating or you are adding any variable with a string, use plus sign, because using the plus sign JavaScript will know that I want to the JavaScript that user want to concatenate with the variable name, whatever the variable name you have mentioned in the const or in the left, that variable name using the string. Okay, so this is the JavaScript keyword. Always remember that that variable is case sensitive. We can't do like this, okay, uh, or like this. Okay, we only have to put it let, then only it will store as a variable. Like it will yeah, we can mention it as a variable. Only the let and everything is in under like in a small letter. Okay, so this is the concept of variable. Okay, so um yeah, this is the concept of variable. So now we have a one more thing, regarding that variable. Like variable is a can be a unique name. That I have mentioned, that is late is equal to x. You can mention it like x value. It should be unique name. So if you are using the variable name like x value, then this variable name should be x value. Then only it will work. Otherwise, if you mention like x, we'll get an error like x is not defined at script 13. So 13 number, this one is x. So we have to mention script value and we'll get the 5. Whatever the mention we have, whatever the value we have stored for this variable. Okay. Now we have a coming to the next part, that is JavaScript identifier. So what is identifier? Identifier is basically name you have given to a variable. Okay, so we can do like x value is an identifier, name is an identifier, or or like anything, or some y is an identifier, y identifier, like this. So what, there are few rules of identifiers, like it must be start with a letter, underscore, or a dollar. Okay, so you can mention like this one, or you can or you have already mentioned like in a dollar. Okay, so if we are mentioning using a dollar, so the same you have to put as a like this one, and this one is this one. Okay, not like, okay, this can be must start with a letter or underscore or a dollar. So it can contain a digit after like a like first character. So the first character should not be a digit. So the content digit after the first character, it can contain the digit after the first character. Okay, so it cannot be reserved keyword like late, const, if, etc. And always remember, this one are identifiers are case sensitive. Okay, so now the JavaScript operator. So basically this is the identifier. This can be identifier. Okay, this is the late is a variable. This one is identifier. Okay, identifier. It can, like um that one also is a variable one. Variable and identifier, you can say. Okay, so now we have a JavaScript operator. So this one, actually this plus one, I have shown you, this one is an operator. So this operator, when you are mentioning this operator plus, that means it will concatenate. Okay, or it will sum. So if you are mentioning this plus and or is equal to, so that is the operator. And when you are mentioning plus in between two number, so that is the sum. When you are mentioning plus in between the variable and a string, that means it will concatenate. Concatenate is also a sum, because we can't sum like a plus b. There is no such value of, okay. So but we have a value for sum 5 plus 6, because we have a 5 plus 6 is equal to 11. Okay, so JavaScript uses an arithmetic operator. So what are the operators? Okay, need to down it. Operator, arithmetic operator. Sorry, operators. Like we have a plus. Okay, we have a minus. We also have a like multiplication, and for division we are using a front slash. When you are like front slash, it will be like division. So let's see, we will be mentioning uh, like we have a value of x is equal to 5, and let we have a value of y is equal to 2. Sorry, y is equal to 2. So now what I want is, I want, okay, so let me do in a proper way. I want division, okay, of that. I want an output of z, or I want a output of yeah, I want an output of z. So the z is equal to, where we, what will be the division of 5 by 2? 5, and y is equal to y semicolon. And I want to put this, I forgot to mention the variable, sorry, my mistake. And we have a z. Now what will get the output? If I run this one, we get the output 2.5, because we have mentioned front slash as a division, and if we mention star as a multiplication, then we have a 10. If we subtract this one using minus, then we have a, sorry, we have a 3. If we plus this one, we'll get a output like 7. Okay, so basically those are the arithmetic operator in JavaScript. Okay, so now the JavaScript expression. So the JavaScript expression is a combine of values, variable, operator, which computes to a value. Okay, so now let's coming to the JavaScript operator. So suppose we have a document dot write. We can mention it here. We will use document dot write only. Every time we are using document dot write. Why? Because we are using external JavaScript and using the document dot get element by ID. Mentioning that ID, we only want to put the value into the p tag, because in the p tag we have mentioned that same ID. Okay, so inner HTML. So now the inner HTML, we have an operator. Let's suppose 5 plus 6. Sorry, 5 plus 6. Okay, into 10. Okay. What express this? This one is an expression. Basically, this one is an expression, right? So we are mentioning first bracket, under the first bracket. We have an addition of 5 plus 6, and then we are multiplication with the 10. So what will be the output? The output will be the 110. Okay, and we can also use like a we already have a x. We can also use like this one. We already have a 5. So what we can do? We'll put a y and we'll put an x. So let's see what will be the output. Let's remove this one. Okay, we can close this one. We can have a 70, because 5 plus 2 is 7. Then we have multiplication with 10, that means 70. The same we can use with this one. What will be the output? For x, we have the value of x is 5 and we have multiplication with 10. So it will be 15 like this one. Okay, so now we have a constant name StackCodePath. Okay, so what I am doing is I will be putting this one and stack code, and I all have a let's suppose this one is first name and this one is L name. So TATH. Now I want to uh, I want to show the value of if name and L name in the inner HTML in the HTML file. So what I will do? I will do is if name, because we have a variable, we are getting it from variable. Then we need to concatenate with plus y plus, because we want a space in between stack code and path. So for plus, we'll be mentioning like this one and we'll put a space, just a space. Then we'll be concatenating this one with the L name. If I go to the output, then we can see the stack code path. If we only give this one like this, we'll get stack code path, but between code and path there is no space. Okay, so for space, as the space is string value, okay, so we'll be putting like this. So if I run this one, we'll get that the space between code and path. Okay, so this is the JavaScript expression. Okay, now always I have while for the syntax, I've already told you, like the JavaScript is case sensitive. Okay, the variable last name both are means first name and last name, and we can mention the variable like this also. So if I const is equal to if name, so this is also a different variable name, and this one is this one is we will be mentioning x and we will be mentioning stack code path. So this is a different variable, this is a different variable, and this is also a different variable, and we can also create this one like l or l l name, which can be this one. If I put this one like if name plus this one is if name, then will be concatenating this with this space, then we'll be concatenating this with what is it, fill name, then we'll be concatenating this with a space, then we'll be concatenating with the fill name. Okay, so we can see for if name we'll get that stack, and okay, for if name we'll get the code, for L name we'll get the path, and for capital L name we'll get the dot. Let's see, we'll get this one. So instead of this space, we'll get this one. Okay, so stack code path dot. So JavaScript identifier are case sensitive. Okay, so this is the JavaScript. This is the JavaScript syntaxes. Now coming part to the JavaScript data types. So JavaScript has 8 data types. Okay, so a JavaScript variable can hold data types of data. So what are those? Those are basically a string, a text of character enclosed in quote. As I have already show you, this is just string part. And a what number? The data type is number. So what is number? A number representing a mathematical value, which is this one. This one is a number. Then big int. What is the big int? Big int like a number represent a large number like 5. Like this. This is we can say as a big int, or this can be a big int. Okay. So now coming back to the boolean. So a data type represent true or false. Either x can be true or x can be false. Now coming to the another data type, which is object. Object, what is object? Object is basically a key value pair of data. So I'll show you how the object look like. And okay, and another is undefined. That is also a um, data type. So undefined, you'll get to know like undefined when a variable with no assigned value. So suppose we have a x, there is no value of that particular x, so we can mention it as a undefined value. Okay, and another is null. So this is a value represent an object absence. Means suppose we have a x is equal to 5. Now we have a null value is equal to x is equal to blank, means there is a null value. Okay, so this can also be a uh, this is also a data type. Okay, and one is symbol, a unique and primitive identifier. Unique identifier, what is that symbol? Either it can be symbol, it is like so this one is this hyphen or plus operator. Okay, or this one is a symbol, we can make it as a symbol, or this can be like this one. Okay, so there are these are all the 8 data types. So what are these? First we have a string, then we have a number, then we have a big int. Okay, then we have a big int, then we have a boolean, then we have an object. Okay, then you have a sorry, then we have a unidentified. This one is also a like data type. Then we have a null, then we have a symbol. So these are all 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. These are all the data types in JavaScript. So let's coming to the example. So let's remove this one, or let it be. So instead of this one, I'll tell you the example. So first we have a string. For string, we have an like let color is equal to red. Okay, so this is a string data type. Now let's come to the number. What is number? Number is a let uh, length length is equal to 16. This is a number data type. Now let's coming to the uh, big int. What is the big int? Let suppose x, the value of x is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 0, something like this. So this is the example of begin. Now coming to the boolean. So how the boolean will look like? This is the x is equal to true like this, or let this is the two boolean only, y is equal to falc. Okay. Now coming to the ob- object. So what is object? Object is a, let's suppose, constant constant p person is equal to object. We have a key value pair. So always the object for object we have to mention with curly braces open and close. Then we have a key which is first name and value is stack code, and as it is a string we can mention it as under double quote. Then we have a comma, then we have a last name like l lem. This one is also a key. Now we'll get this one. So this is how we can mention object in JavaScript. Now this is the object, and now let's coming to the array object. This array of JCT array object. Now how the array object will look like? Constant person is equal to square bracket, and under whatever under this one, either this should be stack, now the comma, now this would be code, and there should be a path. So this is how we can mention array object in JavaScript. And now we have we have another object, that is date object. Okay, so date object uh, date object, how basically it will look like const constant date is equal to new date. Because in JavaScript we already have a date class. Okay, in JavaScript it is already there. So we are only creating an object for that, for creating an object for this classes. So that's why we have mentioned constant variable is equal to new and date object. We are creating an object of date class. Here is the class, and we are creating an object of this one, date. So now today is 2027 and 03 and not 03, 07, 27. Okay, so this is how we can mention date object in JavaScript. Now coming to the undefined. How undefined it will look like? I already show you, like let we call date x. We are not mentioning any value for that particular variable like x. So that's why it is undefined, because we didn't define any value. Okay, and now how we will get for null? So now for null we will be getting uh, constant x is equal to null. That means the constant variable of x is null. Now we have a symbol SYMBOL. What is the symbol data type? It will be like CONST constant, and this one is x is equal to, we can mention same symbol. Okay, we can use the symbol. So this is the data type of SYMBO. Yeah. So this is the data type. These are all the data type of JavaScript. Now coming to the operator. So you can use JavaScript type of operator to find the type of JavaScript value. And this one is the type of operator. Okay, we have already in the previous video we have already shown you like how we have a, not in the previous video, I guess in this video also. I have already shown you like we have an arithmetic operator, plus, minus, multiplication, and division. And we also in JavaScript also have a type of operator. Okay, so type of operator, what it will do, it will operator to find, it will actually find the type of the JavaScript variable. Like we have a string, na? We have also let color is equal to red, that is on a string. So using the type of, we can mention, we can see like so that we can see the type, like it is a string, or it is a number, or it is a big int or boolean or object, something like that. Okay, so let's show you, give me an example. Suppose we have this one. Okay, function. Okay, we will use this function only. Okay, so let me comment. Let me comment this one. Okay, now document dot get element by ID. Now we have a ID called demo. Okay, now what I will use, we have already used in our HTML. So we'll get in here HTML is equal to, let's suppose type of type of, then we have a double quote. Okay, so plus, then plus, then we'll concatenate. Okay, we'll concatenate. Okay, in single line I'll show you in a single, no, I'll show you in a double line. Then br. Okay, because this one is a string, so I'll put this and under double quote. Then we have a plus. Okay, so now we have a type of, again we have a let's suppose stack code path. Okay, and now we again concatenate this one. Before concatenating, sorry, after concatenating, we will be using this variable, because this one is also a string, or we can use simply this one. Okay, so this one again will be concatenating this one. Now type of, and this one is type of, this one is JavaScript, and we put a semicolon. So now we have a type of this one. Now we have a beard tag. Now we have a type of this one. Now with this one. So let's see how it will work. So if I type of JavaScript, syntax is not defined. Which syntax is not defined? Okay, line 12. What is in line 12? Okay, and and why it is showing like this? Why? Okay, none. X has already been declared. Okay, so let me remove this one. Now this one is gone. See, first this one is string. Second, this one is also string, and beta to this one plus this one. Third is also a string. Okay, so we will get all the value because we are getting string because all the text is under the double quote, under the quotation. So that's why we are getting this output as a string. Okay, so now if we put it as a 0, what will get the output? See, we'll get a number. Now we have a, now what will get the output? We get a number. Now we have another output, we'll get a number. Okay, so every time we are extending this number, we're getting a number. And now we have this one. Now we have, oh sorry, we also have this one, like 3 plus 4. What will be the output? This one is also, we're getting a number. Okay, this is how the type of it will work in JavaScript. There is an operator, type of operator. Okay, so this is the JavaScript one. So now we have a JavaScript string. So as I already told you, this is the JavaScript string. Whatever they are in the double quote, it is a JavaScript string. Okay, string is always written in double quote, or you can use a single quote to mention it to mention string. Okay, now JavaScript number. JavaScript number are stored as decimal number, which is a floating number. Either it can be already decimal, either it can be 5, or it can be 5.09 or 99, something like that. Okay, it can be a floating number. Okay, like you can also have another one, which is exponential notation. So now what is exponential notation? Exponential, let's suppose we have a, let y, sorry, x is equal to 1 2 3 e5. So this is the exponential number. So when I click on it, what will get the output? Instead of this one, I'll write this one. What will get the, oh, and my bad. So again we need to mention document.write. Let me wait, and because under the document dot, under the demo only we can get the output. So x, now we'll get 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 5 0 and 5 0. To the power 0 means to the power 5 means 50. Okay, so again one more thing, I will show you one more exponential number, which is this one is capital X. And as I have already told you, JavaScript is a like JavaScript is a um, like which is that one, you can use small x or capital X, like that. So it is, naming convention. So this is called the naming convention. So let x is equal to suppose x is equal to this one, and we can mention a x is equal to this one. So always remember the naming convention. Okay, like x and this one is capital X. So how it will run? It will go for e to the power 5. So now what will be the output? The output will be x and this one is capital X. So this is 0.00 as we have mentioned e to the power minus 5. Okay, so that means before the number we have the amount of this one, and that one is a mathematical one. Okay, and the boolean one, there is few example like JavaScript boolean can only have two values. I have already shown you that, like one is true and one is false. Okay, so give an example like x is equal to 5. So expression should be x is equal to 10, 8. So suppose we have a expression that given x is equal to 5. Now there is a condition where x double is equal to 8. Okay, and there is one condition x not is equal to 8. Sorry, 8. One another condition is um, x greater than 8. Another condition x less than 8. So in that condition, this is the given number. So x double is equal to 8. This one is obviously false because 8 is 5 and 8 is not the same number. Okay. So now in the left one, the second one, x not is equal to 8. That means it is a true because 5 and 8 both those are two different number. Now x is greater than 8. 5 is not greater than 8. That is also a false. And x is less than 8. That means 5 is less than 8. So that is a true. Okay. So this is how the JavaScript boolean will work. Okay. So now we already have a data type, undefined data type, and empty value. Empty value means that null value. We can mention a null value like this also. Let x is equal to null, or let x is equal to like this. So both this is the value of x is equal to null, and for this capital X value, this one is null. Always remember this x variable and this x totally different because JavaScript is a case sensitive. JavaScript has a case sensitive one. Okay, so you can keep x. This is a different variable, and this will be a different value. Okay, so that's it for today. So if this helped, hit like and subscribe to join a community of people who are actively leveling up their skill every day. See you in the next video. Happy coding.